Hey, this is Cam Corder, and we're doing another episode of the Quarantine Series. And I'm here with five great young guys that are really family to me because I got to watch them grow up, especially through middle and high school and through sports. And one especially is my son, Brooks Corder. And but they're just five great young guys that their parents have become part of our family, and I've lost a little bit of touch with them as they've gone off to college, but still see their parents in and around and communicate as much as possible. So really important guys that we're going to have an important conversation today. And so we're going to go around the circle, and I want you to introduce yourself. Brooks, let's start with you.
I'm Brooks Corder. I'm Cam's son. I just graduated from Western Carolina, and I'm going to have a job. I'm living at home for now, sadly. I'm going to have a job in Gaffney, South Carolina, teaching elementary school PE.
Good.
Just felt like I wanted to be a teacher, and with what we're going to talk about today, I feel like that's important. I need to highlight how I'm going to address issues to influence kids. I mean, it's hard to do, but it's something I feel that's important. Even though I don't know, I need to listen and I need to learn from other people so I can know what to do and how to do it the right way.
Great. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, so I'm Trey. I graduated from ECU last May. Funny enough, my major was criminal justice, but which relates, kind of to what I know we'll be speaking about today. But I'm not in any type of law enforcement. I am actually a technical recruiter at a staffing agency here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I found my passion more in cold calling and helping people find jobs.
Yeah. Trey McGee, and he looks like he's on the space shuttle.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Mitchell, introduce
Hey,
yourself.
my name is Tyler Mitchell. I graduated from Western Carolina this past May. I got my degree in engineering technology. I am currently staying at home with my parents and also looking for a job. I'm with Brooks. Sadly, I'm still at home, so I'm working on that.
Yeah,
But I'm here today just to hopefully give enlightenment to some friends and family, and also to people who are going to tune in and listen to this podcast.
Mace.
Hey, I'm Mason Fenner. I graduated from Appalachian State last December. I'm currently living at home too. I work at a sawmill right now, but in July I'll be starting lineman school, so I'm excited for that. And I hope to learn a lot tonight. My mind and my heart's open to receive some things and to gain a better insight on what my friends have gone through, and hopefully that'll teach me a lot and help me to help others in some sort of way.
Great. Are you doing the lineman school at the Cleveland Community College?
Yep.
Good for you. That's a great program. Good for you. That's awesome. Ephraim.
Hey, what's up? Ephraim. I graduated from Elon 2 years ago, 2018. Played football there for 5 years, receiver safety. And I live in Raleigh now. I'm also a recruiter for a staffing agency here in Raleigh. Been out here since December of 2018. So
that's great. And I will add, all of these got great parents, and probably I want to do a follow-up maybe with your parents on this call and ask some similar questions and just see what the dynamic is. But Ephraim, since you're the old guy of this crowd, how have you felt and reacted watching the videos of the George Floyd murder and the riots and protests of the last week?
It's a mix of emotions. The first one's anger, obviously, because when you look at excessive force and the taking of one's life, and then I put myself in that situation and think that could have been me, So first is anger, and then it's also sadness for the family of George Floyd. It's too many emotions to describe. Just seeing the video and knowing what happens, or what happened, excuse me, and then listening and seeing everything else coming from it. It sucks that we have to do this to be heard, like this is what we have to do to be heard, and it seems like it's working, but who knows? But this is what we have to do to be heard, and like I said, it's a mix of emotions, seeing all the videos and seeing everything that's going on.
Cool. Tyler, what's been the conversations around the Mitchell house the last week?
The conversation has honestly been the same because this is not something that has just happened out of the blue. This is something that's been going on for several years. So my parents have always told me just to, once it comes to a situation about being police officers or even being in a predicament or a situation like that, just remain calm and to not do anything extraneous to where he has a reason to pull out a gun or to do anything like that. Try to be calm in all situations. And they also always tell me to just trust in God too, to realize that at the end of the day, he has a plan and we don't know what that is, but to also just be calm and to do whatever you need to do to weaken that situation or to prevail that situation so you can come out safely. But at the end of the day, there's a man behind that trigger. So at the end of the day, he is your jury and jurisdiction.
Great answer. Mace, what about you and your family? Have y'all had any conversations about current events?
Yeah, we just, we're heartbroken, really. It's tough to see, and I know watching that video of what happened to George Floyd, it's definitely shocking and horrific, and you don't really expect to see something like that. Honestly, you just kind of hear stories about it, but being able to see like the full thing happen and how that officer, took that man's life willingly, it seems like it wasn't really an accident or nothing. You could just kind of see it on his face, just the thoughts that were going through his head, and I do not think they were good. And my parents and I have just talked about how tough it is to see all these riots and just how harmful they've been to communities, especially like small businesses. A lot of them companies are, they don't deserve it, but at the same time, people say, well, they should protest more peacefully, but it's like they've been doing that for 60 years. And Colin Kaepernick got all this hate over peacefully protesting. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, it gets to the point to like, what do you expect? Like Ephraim was saying, it's what it's taking right now to be heard. And, my family's talked about it, and, a lot of people have gotten to this all lives matter. But, just thinking about Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, he talks about blessed are the poor, blessed are the ones who are judged or are going to be hated in my name's sake. Jesus wasn't just saying, oh, blessed are all people. He's pointing out different groups of people. And right now we need to focus on the group that's on fire. Like I know of a lot of people have heard that saying, you're not going to spray all the houses, you're going to spray the one that's on fire. So that's just kind of been what we've talked about a lot. And, me going into the ministry, me and Haley have talked a lot about just how Christians need to be more aware and, to be more focused on how we can, show our love and show Christ through all this. Because that's one of the main things that's going to help get us through that. It's the love of Christ.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's been the talk throughout my household.
Great. Trey,
Can I say something?
Sure.
Just what Tyler said, it strikes me. He just talked about how his family was telling him how to interact with the cop, and you and I and Mom have never had that conversation, and it's sad because I'm never going to have that conversation. I'm never going to know what it's like to be a black man, and I'm never going to have to worry about what happens when a cop pulls me over, and that's sad. Like, that's just a sad reality we live in, and I hate it. My heart hurts for all my friends and neighbors. It's just sad.
So, Trey, from Tyler, have y'all ever had a traffic stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of them all good or bad or any questionable?
Well, I'll start. Just to address what Brooks is saying. Yes, it's sad, but we have those conversations when we're 8 years old. Because we're a man at 10.
Exactly.
10 years old, we could be potentially shot by police officers. That's just the reality that we live in. We're told at 10 years old, if you pulled over by the police, put 2 hands on the steering wheel, turn your phone on, and don't make any sudden movements. That's what we're told to do. And at a young age, right before we get our license, that's what we're told. When you're pulled over by the police, put 2 hands on the steering wheel, turn your phone on, and don't make any sudden movements. Sudden movements will get you killed. Not really shot. It'll get you killed. So is it sad? Yes, but we don't really want you to feel sorry for us. That's what we grew up. That's what we, that's is what we do. We survive. So
Yeah.
don't really feel sorry for us. The emotion I want you to feel is I want you to feel as if you want to hold your counterparts accountable. So if you
Yeah.
see something going on,
Help
you hear
be
something.
part of the solution.
Yes. So when you see
Yeah.
something going on, you hear something going on, you step in because it's going to hold more weight with your white counterparts than if I say something, if Tyler says something, if Trey says something. But if Brooks says something, it's going to hold more weight. And that if you understand that this is what we go through and this is not right. So
yeah.
I don't want you to feel sorry for us at all. I want you to feel empowered I want to help. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Trey, did your parents have that conversation with you, and even not only about law enforcement, but about authority? What did they tell you?
Yeah, my parents definitely had that conversation with me at a very young age. And kind of just to go back to what Ephraim had just said, I think he hit the nail right on the head whenever he said that rather than feeling sorry for us, just kind of realize that. And I definitely believe that, like Brooks and Mason and Cam, like I really think that with you all speaking out and, just letting people know about the injustice that's going on, I definitely think that reaches a lot more people than what me, Tyler, or Ephraim can reach, because I honestly feel with me sharing things and with me, talking about change and talking about how we need to change, I honestly feel like, some people just look at me as like another upset black guy, not someone who, someone who's complaining, not someone who is like actually trying to create change. And so I kind of feel like my voice isn't as well heard as what, Mason, Brooks, and Cam, and, anybody else who kind of has like, that privilege to use that platform. So like I said, I think Ephraim hit that nail right on the head there. But going back to your question, Cam, so I had that conversation with my parents at a very young age. And funny enough, I mean, that's actually part of the reason that I had cut my dreads originally. I know I had heat stroke. Everybody thought it was because of that, which it definitely was part of it. But the biggest part was that, I was 16 at that time. And my mom just was like, if anything to keep you from getting profiled and getting pulled over, we'll do. So that's why we ended up cutting the dreads. But my parents had that conversation with me. Don't even put yourself in a situation to where, a police has anything wrong with you. Don't put yourself in that situation. And if you do get pulled over, obviously, get everything that the cop's going to ask for. You already know what he's going to ask for. He's going to ask for your license, your registration. Go ahead and have that in your hand on the steering wheel. He comes up to the window, give it to him. Keep looking straight. He asks you a question, answer it. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. And just be as respectful and polite as you can. And, at the same day, just trust that, God's going to get you through it too. And just anybody with authority too. My parents wanted me to know that I can't just go out there and be doing everything. My parents used to tell me, like, the things that some of your white friends can do, you can't go out there and do it because the color of your skin. They might not get in trouble, but you might get killed. Don't walk to the Dollar General that's 30 feet down the road with a hoodie on. Don't walk there. Period. Probably. Don't go in there as a kid and look around.
And I can't remember Brooks ever not wearing a hoodie in high school. He always was dragging that hoodie around. You mentioned your dreads, and this is a conversation for another call, but I just flashed back to your heat stroke event in that scrimmage game. You're fighting to get on the field, and your parents and the coaches and half the team trying to stop you from going back out on the field.
Need those
That's good. Hey, Brooks.
Just to go on the initial question about this traffic stop. I've been in situations like that. I remember when I first got my license, I had a black Honda Accord. You had to manually turn the headlights on. The night I got the car, we had a service at church. Was leaving service, and it was New Year's, so in Shelby, you drive downtown and everything's lit up. So I didn't know my headlights wasn't on. I was pulled over by 4 police cars for my headlights not being on. Luckily enough, my mother came around the corner and saw my car. My mother and my father, and they came over and asked what the problem was. But there was 4 police cars behind me for not having my headlights on. So that is probably one
Wow.
of the scariest moments of my life in Shelby, North Carolina. So
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Unfortunate. Brooks, how did sports and being teammates with all these guys affect your awareness toward cultural or racial or social issues?
I don't know that it affected my awareness. It definitely exposed me to diversity, as in I've been to all these guys' house. I know all these guys' parents, but I really didn't learn what I was doing wrong until college, really. And I had that discussion with people, you know, I don't realize what these guys have to go through because we didn't talk about it. Thomas Jefferson was not the place to talk about it. I don't know. That's not the interaction I had with these guys in high school. We were about sports. We were about having fun. We were about doing all that stuff. But I really didn't learn until college, you know, about things like white privilege and how real that is and what kind of hardships these guys have gone through their whole life. Because, you know, these guys were just my friends. But as far as helping, I think, you know, I played football and basketball and baseball. Football and basketball, especially, young black kids are playing that, no matter where you are, especially in the South. So it exposes me to diversity, but it's really on the individual person. You know, I was friends with these guys, but not everybody had black friends. But that having black friends really does nothing for you other than expose you to it. It's your job to take a personal effort to, you know, understand.
Yeah. Any other guys got any thoughts about just being on teams together?
Yeah.
One thing that go ahead,
Go-
Tyler. One thing
But-
that sticks out to me from one thing I remember from high school is freshman year we played I think drone, and it was the second time we played them, and we had Travis on our team, and Travis is I think Latino Mexican. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Trey, because I know you're good friends with their family. But
Yeah.
towards the end of that game, they had beat us after coming back, which was, you know, they got lucky calls from the ref. But just remember how they treated Travis and his family, how they were calling them racial slurs. I won't say them on here. And just, you know, how hurt he was in the locker room. You know, he was just pouring out tears. His heart was broken. And, you know, just, you know, that was kind of like the first incident, you know, that I ever been a part of, seeing someone attacked racially for their skin color or their ethnicity. And, you know, that's one thing that's stuck out to me from high school. And, you know, playing with Ephraim and Tyler and Trey and all them, you know, I didn't really ever see it as a color thing. I just saw Tyler and Trey and Ephraim for them and who they were. And, you know, getting closer to them, being more aware, and growing up, and like Brooks was saying, in college, that's when I became more aware of things going on around me. You know, being around people who have gone through things and hearing their stories, that's a lot of where I've gotten, you know, my awareness from, not just from sports, but
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about, I was thinking more of TJ, but I didn't think about the opposition that you played. But there probably were several incidents at away games where you guys probably got stuff. I don't know what I want to name the schools, but y'all were getting harassed from the opposing coaches, fans, teams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that kind of comes with the territory too, though, with being black, and it's kind of like the cards you're dealt with. But at the same time, everybody's kind of like the game of poker. Everybody has different hands, but at the same time, y'all may have different hands. One hand may be weak, one hand might have the advantage. But at the same time, you're playing the player, not the actual game. So you got to make sure you got to make those cards work at the end of the day to make sure you can win. And just with that being said, even at TJ and playing around and being in sports and being involved, like playing sports-wise and playing sports at TJ and being around teammates, I never felt like I was being discriminated against or I had any racial tensions with any teammates. I'm just saying teammates at TJ, but because I felt like they would look at me as who I am. But at the same time, though, I'm not going to sit here in front, but at the same time, I felt that there were some students that were at TJ that I kind of had a feeling that was something like, I kind of felt like felt differently about me. Obviously, they're not going to say it to my face or things of that nature. But at the end of the day, though, that was kind of like my getaway, though, was sports. Like, I could go ahead and play sports with Mason Brooks, Mason, Derek, and like a whole bunch of other people to where at the end of the day, like, they didn't make me feel like, all right, he's a black guy playing football or this, that, and the third. Like, I just felt like they were one of my friends. And that may just be different because most of the people that I did graduate with, my close friends, like, I knew them since we were like in 6th grade, even 5th grade. So, like, we came up from just being little kids to who we are now. And it just seems like things can just be so differently. And when you're young, you're not necessarily noticing how different things are because at the same time, you're just being a kid. You're young, you just want to have fun, get through high school, like Bruce was saying, have fun with your friends, not necessarily thinking about those things. But once you get into college, you realize that. And for me, I realized that once I got into college because for one incident, like we were at a party. There's a couple of people on the football team there. We all went to a party and stuff like that. And then this white person said the N-word. And obviously with some of my teammates being there. And that's the one thing about sports. And that's one thing about sports I wish the whole world was like. Sports brings people from different places and demographics. And you have to literally become one team for you to push to a certain goal. And if the world act like that, I feel like the world would be in a better place. But that's something that I have found out at Western, whereas, man, these white people don't know. Like, I was like, some of these white teammates, they don't know what I go through. Yeah. And they try their best to understand, but they fully won't understand. But at the same time, though, they respected the black football players on that team, and they knew that we were all teammates and we were all brothers. So if they disrespected one of us, then they was disrespecting many people on the football team. And like I said, at that party, somebody did that, and the result of that was them getting beat up. So, I mean, sometimes you got to learn your lessons emotionally or physically. I mean, you just
Ephraim, what about you at Elon? How'd you feel as the team? Did that cross barriers, or was there division there?
Well, I'll start at TJ. I'll reiterate what Tyler said. The beauty of sports is that when you're on that team and you learn about everyone and you come together and you're building this just trust, this brotherhood and sisterhood for the female sports out there as well. But you're building this brotherhood and sisterhood, and it's not even about race. It's just we're here to do one job, and that's to win a football game, win a basketball game, win a baseball game, whatever that is. We're here to do a job, and I'm here to do it with my team. Now, to address the first question, I just wanted to wait for everybody else to say something. But at TJ, you know who would say it.
Yeah,
with us being around.
Definitely knew.
Yeah, you definitely knew. You know, obviously.
It's such a small school that you knew who was against you and who was with you.
Who was exactly.
And we addressed it multiple times, but you knew for a fact who would say it, and it would be weird eye contact. We would address it, and it'd be at that. You know who would say it. So that's what we dealt with every day going to school there. And then on the football field, me, Tyler, and Trey, and Michael and everyone else, we heard it every game. It wasn't going to be a game where we didn't hear it. We heard it every game.
Unfortunately, we were playing in a conference where we were playing against those teams. I'd say Madison was one of the worst ones. You know,
yes,
playing Madison.
Yeah.
So you deal with it, but in that situation, this is no knock to you, Brooks or Mason, but in that instance, when you hear it, it's like, is somebody going to stop it? Somebody else going to say something about it? And that's it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't happen. And I know other people on the field heard it. There's no way that just me, Tyler, and Trey heard that. They're not whispered in our ear, like they're verbally and shouting it. So it's like nobody else said anything. So that was something that we dealt with. And in retrospect, I should have said something. But it was just like, we're here to play a football game, and around sophomore, junior year, we were being beat by 50. So it was just like I kind of brushed it under the rug because I knew at the end of the day we were going to win by at least 40. So, retrospect, I should have said something, but yeah. And then at Elon, it was never anything like that on the football team. We were all brothers. We all worked with. Now, I can't speak for 100 and two other people on whether they would say something if something was like that ever happened, or if they were to hold their white counterparts accountable. I can't speak for everyone, but it wasn't any tension like that I knew of. And I know just kind of cross culturally, Mason's the reason I listen to country music. You know, that's the only reason. Because would play it. You know, Mason walks in the locker room, it's going to be Luke Bryan. I forgot the other Rascal Flats. What's the other one? What's the other one I used to listen to? Yeah, Mason's the reason I listen to it. But I never seen it. You said what?
You got me any Young Money, so I think we're even.
But kind of picking
about
the day.
What about for you guys off the court at TJ? Any incident that you just offended you that you could share that you just never spoke about that you just kind of ignored?
I'm gonna try to get this one straight because I know you got something. But but there has been times to where, and I know Trey has experienced this, and maybe Ephraim has too. I can't remember because, I mean, like I said, we talking about things that didn't happen 4 to 5 years ago. And to be honest, I can't remember everything from 4 to 5 years ago. But the thing is, though, I remember there were some students out there that once we get to school, we was all cool, we talking, this, that, and the third. You would think we was best friends. But soon as like their parents would come around, it was kind of like trying to push away from each other because they don't want to be seen with us and they want their parents knowing. So for me, it was just kind of like, it was a sign of disrespect, but it's kind of like, I mean, what's so wrong with your parents just seeing me with you? Like, we just talking. It's not like we doing anything other than just communicating and conversating. So that really kind of irked me a little bit because you're a parent that's mad. The parent that you're saying that would be mad at you talking to me would be the same parent on Friday night after the game, pat me on my shoulder pads, hit me in the helmet, telling me good game, or I see what you're doing out there, keep up the good work. So for me, it was just kind of like, well, what is he like? Does he like me or hate me, or could it be both? But at the end of the day, I mean, as you are that young, you're kind of naive to it. But as you get older, you kind of realize like those people necessarily wasn't really your friends, because at the end of the day, if they was really your friend, they wouldn't care I mean, obviously with us being young and being at 17, 18 years old, you have to listen to your parents. But at the same time, I feel like at 17, 18 years old, you should know what was wrong and what's right from what's justice and what's injustice. So that's some experience that I had felt too, because for me, it was kind of like, well, if you hate me, if I'm just in school and not on the football field, and you love me when I'm on the field, scoring touchdowns, doing that, do you actually even like me at all, or do you just like the idea of me?
To kind of go off that, so I can say that, and I'm not gonna speak on anybody else's experiences here, but like I know that I can say that I'm pretty sure that all three of all three of the Black people that are currently on here right now have experienced at minimum some type of racist, definitely, racist motivated experience from a parent. Now, whether that be, whether that be us talking to their child who was of the opposite sex and the opposite color, I can name several times where that happened to me.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not the only person on here who's dealt with that. But to kind of, I knew that you had asked about things that happened off the court, and I'm actually going to hop back on the court for 1 second, and I'm not going to name the name, so know that y'all all remember this too. It was our freshman year. Ephraim, it was your sophomore year. We were it was raining cats and dogs outside. We were in the gym going through a light practice.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Yeah, and it's not funny actually, but I was told to. I don't remember. I think I was told to like run up the middle. Just kind of, we're going through some plays, and with the coach at that time actually wanted me to do. The coach no longer there. He was only there for a year. what he actually wanted me to do was do a sweep. And so I didn't do a sweep because I wasn't told to do a sweep. And he threw down his little wad of papers and he said, I said sweep, N-word, sweep. And then the gym was silent. I didn't say anything. I just like stared at him. I mean, I'm this freshman who was like, it's my first year at the school. Like school hadn't even started yet. And so I was just kind of like, my jaw dropped. And I know just about everybody else's jaw dropped. And then it took another coach speaking up saying, hey, actually, that's my fault. I told him to do the wrong thing. And then
let me interject. This is the learning moment for us, and everybody watching this. So Ephraim, you be the consultant here. What should Brooks and Mason should have done right then?
Where you stop it. That's where you say that's not right. That's the perfect example where you hold your white counterparts accountable. No matter if you're a high school football player or you're a parent, coach, that's the perfect example where you know that's wrong. You use some foul language and you tell them to, chill out. There's some other words that I would have said, but that's where you step in.
Did the coach ever apologize after that, Trey, for saying it?
He said, and I quote, "I'm sorry, I meant my brother," and then tried to dap me up after. So I'm not.
Yeah. I would hope, and I think it's hard, especially a 15-year-old freshman, but somebody, even another coach, you wonder should have spoke up at that time. But that's got to be the awareness that we have today. And even as a player, the impact it would have had. And it takes courage. And I think that's what we got to get out of this is courage. But for a player to say, Coach, we're not going to use that word on our team.
We talked to him after. We talked to him. We handled it.
I remember that.
There were some words used, but we handled it,
Yeah.
Not in front of everybody, but we handled it. But
That's great.
That would be the perfect moment for somebody who was white to step in and say, oh, that's not cool.
Yeah. So as we wrap this up, what's your hope for the world? What's your hope that comes out of in future years? What do you hope comes out of all this dialogue?
Somebody want to start?
I start. I hope one thing that people get out of this is to show that there is racial injustice within our system, and it's not just now, it's always been there. And we have to move forward with this because I feel like, yes, even though there are protesters out there, and do not get me wrong, there's not a playbook out there for a perfect protest. But at the same time, though, we've been doing protesting for the past, let's say, 80 to 60 years, and I feel like we haven't necessarily gotten anywhere where the African-American community is happy. Because, the only thing, we're not really asking for a lot. We're not asking for, respirations, or we're not asking for things that's absurd. We're really just asking just for justice, and not even justice, but to also, we know this too with a lot of people, with people being white and us being black, it's hard for people to walk a mile in our shoes. But at the same time, you can also choose a right from a wrong and try to understand what we go through and why we do the things that we do, or why we always have to be on our tippy toes or our head is on the swivel, because we are going through things like this on the everyday basis. You may not see it because you are walking a mile in your own shoes, but at the end of the day, I think what we just want is justice, and for people to open their eyes and see that this is way bigger than what is really projected to be. This is not the first time an innocent black man has been murdered by the police. This is probably going on. Stuff been going on like this since high school. So I feel like right now is the time to do it, with all 50 states protesting, and everybody has a word. And with social media being out there, I feel like everybody should have a voice. And if you have an opinion, you should express that in your own way. And realize that this is not going nowhere anytime soon. But it only takes a few people just to change the world.
Yeah. What about anybody else?
From my perspective, I think that it's my job to shut up, learn, listen, and like they've said multiple times, when I was 15, 16, 17, and I heard someone say that word, or I heard someone make a joke, I either sat back and didn't say anything, or I laughed, and I'm not proud of that. And it's my job to now, I'm going to be a teacher. If I hear a kid say something, to not only explain to the younger generation that there is injustice in this world and they need to know it, but also I need to almost embarrass that kid in a way that he'll never do that again. You know, you don't want to cuss a kid out, because I don't want to get in trouble, because that does me no good. But I got to make that kid feel like, you better never do that in front of me again.
Yeah.
And that should be my job. And also, I discussed this with my girlfriend, fiance now. She's gonna get in trouble, get me in trouble for saying girlfriend. But it's our job in our future careers to now. She's gonna work in local government, and she's just talked about how systematically broken everything is. Public schools are funded by income tax in that area. So the rich schools get rich money, poor schools don't. Demographically, races are getting left behind, and it's her job. She wants to change that. She's been doing research because she's upset about all this, and I've been doing research too. She found that out the other day, and she wants to change that. And I think it's our job as the white people to listen and change and try to enact change.
Great. What about you, Ephraim or Trey?
The biggest, well, a few things. One, from these conversations is I'm glad we're having this conversation and being heard, and it took a while, but glad it's happening. The biggest thing is I would implore anyone who has any questions, or anyone that doesn't, or is concerned about something, or is kind of doesn't know something, look it up. There's so much information out there on the internet that you could learn about these things and learn about what we Black people as a whole had to go through ever since we got here. So when you learn about that, and you learn about the history, and you understand things, then that'll help you, Brooks, and you, Mason, and you, Mr. Quarter, in your conversations, and it'll help you understand what you're saying, because understanding things will help you relay a message 10 times better than just saying something because Ephraim, Trey, and Tyler told you to say it. But when you understand it, and you know what you're talking about, and then you accost someone, and then you hold your counterparts accountable, that's gonna hold so much more weight. So definitely do some research and understand. And then also, if you really are, and I can't speak for anyone, but if you really are convicted in helping the cause, and you really are behind the Black Lives Matter, then also do some research on how you can support, because it's good to have these conversations. It's good to say you talk about it, but it's really the actions behind it that are really going to invoke the change, and really going to, show that you actually care.
Yeah.
It's cool for the social media and all that, but if you're not doing something behind that, if you're not doing nothing with it, then what are you doing at all?
Man. Great
That's
point.
what I see from it, and that's what I hope we get from this conversation. But also just to understand that I hate when people, I heard it today, I hate when people say I don't see color. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want you to know, like, this is what we deal with. This is what we have to think about when we step outside of the house. We have to think about these things, like what to do in certain situations to not get killed by police who are supposed to protect and serve. So I want you to see the color, and I hate that. Don't say that. And if someone does say that, they're lying to themselves, they're lying to everyone that they say that to. And I will definitely want you to see the color of my skin and understand what I'm going through. And then if you feel for it, then help. So yeah.
Great. Trey, you got a comment?
Yeah. Once again, I think that was very eloquently said, Ephraim, and just kind of segue off that. I'm really, we're talking now. And honestly, I feel like we're kind of in a time too where a lot of people's true colors are coming out. Either people are learning, or people who are kind of showing, that they either don't want to know or just aren't going to acknowledge it. But I'd love to see, you know, this conversation, like Ephraim said, this conversation turn into action, and you know, just really see, you know, people show empathy as well too. Like I don't want you to like, and not empathy in the sense where I want you to feel bad for me, but I want you to like, you know, feel me, feel like, you know, feel what I'm going through, like understand how it feels to, you know, get pulled over and not know if I'm gonna make it out, you know. I can only imagine whenever I have kids, I have to tell them, you know, hey, listen, you're Black, you can't go out there and do everything that your friends are doing. Or, you know, my mom used to always tell me, as soon as I turned 16, she was like, hey, you're 16, you can be charged as an adult now. So think about everything you do. You know, I'd love for us to get to a point where, you know, I don't necessarily have to, you know, tell my children that. I don't know if that's realistic, but, you know, I guess, you know, what I'd really like is for us to unify, you know, just really unify and be there to support each other, have each other's backs, and you know, just stop all the wrongful killings. You know, I don't want to have to, like I said, it is tough, and it's something that, while I don't want to say like, you know, we get used to never knowing, you know, what someone might think of us or what someone might do to us because of our skin. But you know, it'd be nice to eventually be able to have a world where, you know, that's not a problem. Like I said, I know that we're not there yet. And I'm not sure how we get there, but I think this is definitely the first step, and the next step is action.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate all you guys. I love all you guys. I appreciate too the impact your parents had on Brooks and Ryan, my daughter. And I look back, I would cut off fingers to go back and do it again. I loved all the carpool rides home from ball games, coming down those mountains late at night. And I loved kicking y'all's butt on Sunday nights, opening the Y up and just dominating Ephraim and talking trash. I was afraid he was going to say something about that tonight, but just killing y'all at basketball on Sunday nights at the Y. But I appreciate all of you.
For everyone that's watching, not for the people in it, well, for the people in this group too, for everyone that's watching, if you're having these conversations, definitely have them. But the conversation should involve, one, you learning, and two, it should have some action steps after it. And then you should take action on those action steps. If you're just having discussions, then it's not going to come from, nothing's going to come from it. I need those discussions to have actions, to be targeted, to be pointed, and say, hey, this is what we're going to do if we really support the movement. If we really support it, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to support it, and this is how we're going to make it known that we support. You're having these discussions, just having discussions. We've been doing that for a while now. It's got to.
That's what our staff discussion today was around, the difference between a reaction and a response, and that was it. And that we can react on emotion, but we need to have a response that's strategic and has an outcome and a goal,
and sustainable.
And I have a question,
but it has to last. You have to keep doing it and keep responding.
I have a question for Tyler, Ephraim, and Trey. I asked my friend Josh this, but I just want to ask for y'all's input too, of organizations that we should support or donate money to or protest with. Like if y'all had any specific organizations locally or just nationally that we need to research about and or donate to.
Yeah, I can send you a list after this.
Awesome. I'm about to say that. I can send you a list too. Yeah. But like what Ephraim said too, it doesn't hurt to also do research too, you know, to look at these organizations to benefit African Americans or even just people in general. So just do your research, but I will send you a list too as well.
That's good. Yeah. For everybody that's watching this video, I hope you watch and share with your friends and family, and let's continue the discussion. And I hope you look for more discussions as we talk to other leaders and other people in our communities and in our world just about this, as we try to be better, because we know that we're just better together.